Hello there, one-of-a-kinders. It's Karen. I'm back. We're doing another event in the one-of-a-kind group. Thank you for joining me today. What are we doing this time? We're doing a really festive Christmas card with envelope. Christmas card, a holiday card. And this one, I just had so much fun with this one. I think this might be my favorite this year. So this guy, there were 3 kits to choose from. If you didn't get your kit, it is not too late. You can still get it. One of the kits just has we cut it out and die cut it for you. If you have your own markers and you don't want to make more, we have a really beginner kit or basic kit. It's the basic kit. Then we have the kit that's one step up where you got the stamp and die to do multiple of this on your own. There are no markers with that. I should say the basic kit does have markers. And then there's the deluxe kit. The deluxe kit came with both the stamp and die and the 2 marker colors that I recommend to do this with. So what we're going to be doing is a little bit of shading and blending today. We're using ribbon. There's stickles that came in your kit. I just think it's fun. We can do a lot with this in terms of layouts. You can put this branch and do layouts with it. You can do cards. You can do all kinds of stuff. It's fun. So let's get into that. Before we do, let me show you our show specials. Let me put those on the screen for you right here, and you can see what's going on. You need to use that coupon code for the adhesive, so be sure to view that at our website, shopbecreative.com, and B has 2 E's, of course. And let's get right into the project, shall we? Yay!
Here's a little board that shows plain items that can be transformed to any color palette using your alcohol markers: wood, glass, metal, plastic, glitter, fabric, ribbon, anything you can tint. So just buy generic and then you can tint it to match your project, which saves you a lot of money. It saves you a lot of organization space, so you don't have to carry things in a whole rainbow of colors. Here's some other samples of things I've colored with alcohol markers, just showing you a little bit of a sampling that you can go outside the color family and do something a little different. Here's a dragonfly I did using the same blending techniques we're talking about. You can really do dynamic color. You can stay in the same color family here. Colored pencil is layered on top of alcohol marker colored images to give it a little more depth and texture. Here I'm adding a little bit of white into that. I'll talk about that in a second. You'll also see this halo. The halo, like a shadow, that's done by using like a very light gray or a very light turquoise and just outlining the very rim. Can you see that? The very rim, to give it just a hint of a shadow and kind of have it pop off the page. And then this white here, adding white space back in, that I'll tell you right now, that is done with, here we go, a Uniball Signo Pen. We have those on our website. This is just a must-have for not only adding white highlights, but color correcting. If you smudge, you can use it as a fake highlighter, and you can just write on really dark paper. That's just kind of a little hint and a trick. And then here I added white into this as well, using lots of shades of green. Here I'm outside the color family. Choosing the right paper and ink is paramount to having success with alcohol marker coloring. So here is my favorite. It's the Ultra Smooth Premium White Cardstock from Spectrum Noir. It's 100-pound weight. It's a very smooth surface. It's not going to pill or shred when you color it. It comes in 50 or 20 sheet packs of 8.5 by 11. I use it even for embossing and stamping just because you just get really crisp images. It's my go-to cardstock pretty much for any craft project. We have that on our website, as well as inks. Let's talk inks. I would say the Memento is kind of the tried and true. It's a dye-based ink. You want something dye-based that is made, basically dye-based means it's made out of water, which means it's the opposite of alcohol. It won't bleed when you hit it with an alcohol marker. Opposites attract. Your alcohol markers are made of alcohol, so your ink should not be a StazOn or something that's a solvent, because that's alcohol too, and they'll try and bleed and blur together. So Memento, great for your traditional black. We have that. But I really like Finesse. This is newer. This is from Spectrum Noir. The one that says alcohol-proof dye on there is specifically for alcohol ink. And I like some of the more unusual colors, like a rustic brown for a more vintage look, or the Pebble is really great for a softer outline so that your color really does the work for you and it's more vibrant, because in real life we don't have giant big black outlines around ourselves, nor do our flowers or our landscapes or anything else. So doing a more soft, natural outline will allow that outline to just kind of fade into the background and let the color really pop that you're coloring with. And then finally, a newer ink from Hero Arts. This is the Contour ink. This guy is fun because he's kind of a hybrid. Let's flip this over. So he is ideal for no line coloring, which is what I just talked about. So it's even more of a lighter, like a grayish. And this will work with both watercolor and alcohol ink. So that's kind of a fun choice, more of a light, a light gray. And then lastly, I want to talk about the Classique blender. This is a must-have. This is what you use to erase or distress or strip out color. So if you color something with blue, solid blue, but you want it to look like denim, you take your Classique marker and you just scrub it across that blue, and it's going to take out some of the color and give it a little bit of texture, and it will look like denim. You can also, if you go outside the line, scooch your color back in and it acts as an eraser. So that's a must-have as well. So many brands of alcohol markers out there. Oh, here I have some Classique from Spectrum Noir. This set is really great because you get the clear colorless blender in with some natural grays to do that outlining shadow along with some natural colors. This is a really great set, Classique 6-piece. There's also, they've got the dark, here's dark skin. I also have fair skin for doing people. That's phenomenal. As well as the brand new Tri-Blend brush. Just came out like 2 weeks ago. I think we're the first to have that. And this gives you that lovely brush tip, and it's extended colors from the original brush tip box of 24. This is called the extended pack. So additional colors, let's take a look. Here they are. So additional colors to not only extend the range you currently have, but add some new colors. So where it says extend, it's more colors in that family. And where it says blend, it's other colors you've never had. I'm really excited to do this project with you today because I think it's like my favorite of the year, because I love Christmas, I love Halloween, I love those fall holidays, and this one just really spoke to me because I'm a big holly fan. I like nutcrackers and I like holly. I don't know, those are my go-to motifs for the holidays. So here's the card we're going to be doing. You can take that extra piece in with your kit and do a little doodad on your envelope as well. So let's get into it. There were 3 different versions of the kit. One of the versions had the holly pre-cut out like this. It did not come with the stamp and die, but you got the holly pre-cut out and stamped, and you also got the Tri-Blend markers you're going to need to complete the project. That was the, I think it was called the beginner. The basic kit gave you the stamp and die set, which looks like this. Here's the stamp with matching die, and you use your own alcohol markers. I believe that was the basic kit. And then there was the deluxe, the best value. And again, if you didn't get a kit, they're still available. So you can do that if you're watching this live, or if you're watching it later, jump under our website under One of a Kind kits. You will see those 3 choices. So the deluxe kit had the stamp and die. It also had the 2 markers that you need to complete the kit. So let's get into it. If you had the kit where it was pre-done for you, it's going to look like this. Otherwise, you're going to have to cut out your own. You can either do it 2 ways. You can cut it out and then stamp it, or you can stamp it and cut it out. I know some people swear by one way and others swear by the other. I personally don't think there is a right way to do it. I think there's many ways, and it's whatever you're most comfortable with. Maybe despite popular opinion, I think it's whatever you're comfortable with. So here I've cut out the big holly sprig, and I am going to stamp that. So let me get my very well-loved and kind of dirty stamping block. I'm going to get my stamp as well. Oh, I've got some little doodads on there. Let's get this off. My goodness. So I'm going to get my stamp down. I'm going to use, since I'm doing alcohol markers, I need to use a dye or water-based ink. I'm using Memento Black. You can also use Finesse. Those are good choices. If you are using alcohol markers, you want your ink to be opposite of your markers so they don't bleed together. So water and alcohol are kind of like oil and water. They don't mix. So I've got my stamp here. I'm going to get him inked up just like this. I actually need a little give to stamp him on something. I'm going to put him on the card just for fun here. Let's get that all inked up, making sure I don't miss any spots. And then I'm going to have to line this up. This is the hard part because I got a camera right here and maybe I'm blocking it. I'm not sure. So we're just going to do our best. There we go. And we'll press this down with all my might. Oh my goodness. There we go. Let's see how I did. What do you think? Not bad. A little off center. That's okay. Do you ever have that problem? There you go. We've got that down. So let's get this colored. So what I am going to do, so you've got your red and your green that were in your kit. These are tri-blend markers from Spectrum Noir. One is the Alpine Green Blend. The other is the dark red shades. I like dark red because I feel like dark red goes more cranberry and less orangey, because I like my Christmas to be a little more with a pink red versus an orange red. I don't know about you, but it's hard to get a good red. It's really hard to get a good red. So I like this dark red shades, and let's get this guy colored. What I did do on the sample, you'll notice, is yes, these are pine branches. I know they should be green, but I felt like that was a lot of green and I wanted to add a little something into it. So I made it like they're dead pine branches, because here I am in Southern California where everything's constantly on fire and it's hot and it's dry and everything's dead anyway. So I felt that was more appropriate for my region to have that. So I'm kidding, of course, but actually I'm not really kidding. So you can do this green if you wish, but that's why I did mine kind of like dead pine just for fun. So I'm going to go in with, I just happen to have like a brown water-based marker, and I'm just going to hit that and do a little bit of a brown pine needle, no biggie, yeah? And if you want to do it green, you do it, or you can leave it alone. Like, it doesn't have to be tinted. It's just because it's that black outline. But I just thought that would be fun. Next, let me hit it with the red berries. I'm going to hit it with the light. If you look at a tri-blend marker, it's got dark, mid, and light. I'm going to hit it with the light, and then I can go in and do some shading. So I'm going to hit light, light, even though this looks pretty dark, but it's going to look great. Trust me. So I can do that, and then I can come in with my dark and add a hint of dark at the base and kind of draw that up and blend it. I can do that like this, or I can do a totally different method where I'm going to take my stamp off my stamp block here, and I'm going to use it like a paint palette, and I'm going to stick my dark onto the block. Now you see why my stamp block's so filthy, because I use it as a palette all the time. So I've put down the dark color. I go to my light tip, and I'm going to pick a little bit of it up, and then I'm going to hit the base of a couple of these. And then as I pull it up, it's going to blend, like it's going to kind of self-blend, because as it exits the pen, it gets lighter. Does that make sense? I know it's hard to see on the video. Let me show you here. I've got this lovely little card I kind of destroyed earlier. So I've got my dark here. This is my light. I'm going to pick it up. So when I color, it's dark and it gets progressively lighter. I know it's a subtle difference, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. So that allows you to preload the blend onto your pen. Otherwise, if you feel like there's not much of a difference, leave them all light. That's fine too. There's nothing that says the rule of alcohol markers is to make sure everything is perfectly shaded. There's no rule. It's just a really great way to get color down. Now on this bigger berry here, that's where you're going to see it the most if you do a dark to light. So see how I'm going to put some dark up in here. And I'm even skipping, because it's such a small space, I'm skipping my mid-tone, and I'm just going to pull that up. Now I've got like a dark to light going on, yeah? Okay, so I've got all my red down. That was pretty quick and painless, wasn't it? You could leave berries white too if you want to. You want a little bit of an albino berry? Sure, why not? Okay, now we're going to get into our leaves. And again, a couple ways we can go with this. You can color and again, this is the Alpine Green Blend, and I'm using light, mid, and dark. I'm going to start with light because we start with light, then we add in dark and use our light to blend it up. So if I've got my light down in here, and in case Brian's watching, yes, I've had a little caffeine. I'm a little, see? Yeah, I did have a bagel with my caffeine, but nonetheless, I'm a little shaky this morning. I've really got to do a better job. Okay, so then I can go back in and add my dark into the base of this branch. You see how I'm doing that? And traditionally, I would halo it. That's my dark. So I did light, dark. I go in with my mid. I could halo around it to add like a third tone. I could do that. And then come back to my light, making sure I'm paying attention. And I'm going to pull that up and blend him up like this. Now I can see what I'm doing on the back side. He's starting to, can you see that? He's starting to bleed through. The more I work an area, the more it's going to bleed through my alcohol marker cardstock, which is what we want to use, that alcohol marker cardstock, because see how it's bleeding through? It's not going sideways outside the lines. It's going through my paper, allowing me to blend these colors. These are lots of wet colors, and in order to get a seamless blend, you need the ability to blend it without the paper disintegrating on you and shredding or just making just a big old bleeding mess sideways. You need to be able to concentrate all those liquids and colors, and that's why the cardstock is really important, to have that good alcohol marker cardstock. So that is one way you can go for sure. The other way you can go, here I'm going to do another one just to show you. Let me do a couple more because I know you're coloring with me. You're coloring with me. And again, I did my light, I added some dark, and now these are really small leaves, so I don't have a lot of space for that mid-tone, so I'm just going to make my light do a lot of the blending, and I'm really going to press. I'm not afraid that my tip's going to break or anything. I'm really going to press. You can hear me pressing, and that allows me to get that dark to light again. Do you see how it's bleeding through? And that's the mixing happening. That's me with my very powerful mixing spoon here, mixing that color up. Now, another way you can go, if you'd like a different way, just kind of like what we did with the berries, take your dark tone, throw some down on your either acrylic block, your cellophane, anything plastic like that that will repel this alcohol. So I put down my dark, I switch to my light, I pick it up with my light tip, and then when I start to draw, I'm getting dark, and as I work up, it's going light because all that dark that I've preloaded on the tip is exiting the pen. Yes, you can do that. So that's another way to go. See how it's dark and then it gets a little lighter. Now, if it's not quite dark enough, I mean, sure, go back in with your dark. It's to your liking. It's like how blended or how contrasting do you want that light to dark? Do you want to really be able to see it? Do you want it kind of blotchy where it's more like a watercolor where you can really see the distinction? See how you can see the light to dark demarcation there? That's fine if that's the look you're going for. If you want it more seamless, you are going to have to carry that all the way up to the edges. But it's just however you think it's going to look best. So again, coming into all of these leaves here. Oh my goodness. Yes. These are all light. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. I am live on these comments, and I would love to talk to you on this beautiful Saturday in fall. Is it fall-ish where you are? It's never fall where I am. It's never fall. We don't get fall. We like to watch fall on TV and buy fall pillows and all that for no reason. I don't know. It's crazy. So there we go. So you want to keep building and coloring, and whichever method works for you. And again, I'm coloring really quick and fast and dirty here just to get some color down so you can see what I'm doing. You can definitely take your time. And those of you who bought either the, the basic or the deluxe set that has the stamp and die in there, you can do this endlessly. You could do a really cool layout, scrapbook layout, 12 by 12, and do 2 hollies and really frame in your Christmas photo or something, and do a lot of fun stuff with that. You can turn it into, you can just, this is kind of one of those timeless stamps, in my opinion, because it's great as a focal image, but it's also great as like a border, as a little border on a main photo. You could do a lot with it. And you can hear me being aggressive. I'm an aggressive colorist. I don't know about you, but I'm aggressive because I feel like that's how you get it to blend. You've got to be aggressive. You're making those colors blend. They don't magically hit each other and decide they want to play nice. They just don't. So you've got to do a little bit of the work. Yeah? You can kind of see what I'm doing here. Let's look on the back side. Oh, see how you can see there's my aggressiveness. This is how I get out my aggression. You think I'm just like a happy-go-lucky, I seem to be all perky. No, I'm highly caffeinated and I'm an aggressive colorist. And sometimes that is a bad combo, but here it really works for the project, right? So keep going through, hitting all those leaves. And here on these ones, I will do the other method because I've got kind of a leaf behind a leaf here. And oh my goodness, this is a little rough. This is a little rough. Ah, there we go. I've got to figure out what the family here. I'm going to do that dark to light thing again. I'm going to throw the dark down and pick it up because I feel like that's just going to be an easier way to go on this smaller area here, you know, and come in here. I've got to figure out what the Christmas card photo is going to be this year. Last year, I took it of us all sitting on a couch. I had one kid on her laptop, one reading a book, and Randy in a Santa hat, and me holding a potato chip and a glass of wine, because, you know, that really kind of highlighted our entire year. Yeah, it was a pretty good photo, I must say. And we did a self-timer and all that. The birds would not stay still for it. We tried. We have 2 birds. They didn't want to sit. We tried, and they flew away. So this year, I think we're going to go more traditional. Maybe we'll use a vacation photo because we actually took one. So that would be kind of cool. But I always have fun coming up with, as you know from a previous craft along, I also take my Halloween very seriously too. So yeah, coming up with all that is just part of my fun. So I either color or I come up with wacky poses for holiday photos. There we go. So we've got that. You're going to want to do the other 2 sprigs too. Let me show you how to put this card together real quickly. Time is of the essence. I'm going to fold the card that came in my kit. I've got my lovely red cardstock too. We're going to need to trim that. I've got a little baby tape runner here. Let's see. One side's a little more textured than the other, so that's just kind of up to you how you want to do it. Just a little bit down. There we go. And let's get this down. Oh, I didn't fold that well. That's okay. I'm going to leave maybe, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch or so. So I cut these pretty close to begin with, but you may have to come down here and trim just a hair. Dupe, yeah. And we've got our green ribbon. And if you've got like a glue dot or a liquid adhesive you like, you can use that as well. I'm just going to use my tape runner to get this anchored down to show you guys. I'm putting my green little cute ribbon on the edge here, like this. I'm going to trim him up. Ooh, backside. Backside, okay. And then I've got my black and white. I love incorporating black and white into both Christmas and fall projects. I just think it's fun. I like it. It feels very farmhousey, doesn't it? Kind of a fun thing. So I'm going to get that down, line that up as best I can here. There we go. Trim on the back side. Dupe. Okay. I've got that. Now I'm going to stick all my, you're going to pop square this guy. Where are my pop squares? They are MIA. Where do I have some? Here we go. Wow. And look at that. Beautiful, beautiful blending on the back side. So go ahead and, you know, find your pop squares, throw those on and take those off. We're going to pop that up. I kind of center it kind of like my little pine branch here is just barely over the green with that arching into the white space here. That's kind of how I position it with my little branch down here. I can also take, I forgot to kind of do this, but if you have any kind of a brown and you want to hit the branch itself, you can do that too, coming in here. If you've got any kind of brown colored pencil or whatnot, up to you. Yeah, there we go. And now on the sentiment, I've got him kind of trimmed somewhat, and I am going to add a little black. I like to add a little black distressing to my sentiment, and I am going to do that. Any sentiment you want, any sentiment at all, or no sentiment, up to you. Sentiments sometimes are very personal. So we're going to anchor that down, pop him up, and put him across like this. You could put it like this. It's up to you. On my sample, I did it like this. We are going to add some stickles to that. That came in your kit as well. And with that, just make sure before you stickle, you give it a little bit of a shake so you don't get it burping and splatting and blah on your card, because that's never fun. So we're just going to do that in a combination of both single dots, and I like to do my dots in threes too. I think that's kind of fun. I added it to the sentiment, which I popped up. Now what I did too is I single popped up my holly, but I double popped up my sentiment. I double popped them up because then it's higher than the regular. Just keeping in mind when you mail it, that could be an issue. And you can cut sprigs away. Like if you wanted to have other pieces, you could definitely come in here. Here, I can cut him apart like this, and I can kind of cut him apart like this. And now I have an extra piece. Let me trim him. I've got an extra piece that I could come off of here, and I've got more going on. So you can do whatever you want with that and be a little more creative. Haha, be creative, and make it your own. And then, like I said, I added a little something to the envelope. That's up to you as well. But this is just fun, and you're going to be making a ton of these because that Stampin' Die is just really phenomenal. I hope you enjoyed this. Here's some new arrival, and we've got lots of storage and all that. So let's move on to that.
So many new arrivals to talk about. Let's get right into it. The Tri-Blend brush I talked about in the segment before a little bit. This extends the original brush markers from last year with new colors that enhance existing colors and expand the collection with additional colors. So brand new for fall 2021. Here's a color chart that shows you a little bit. So you don't have these colors. These are new colors. This is a great way to complete your collection. The Totally Tiffany workstation for desktop now comes in turquoise in addition to black. We've got the new Spectrum Noir glossy highlights to add a little glisten and shine and like an epoxy coating to the top of projects. That's brand new. Brilliantly metallic Midas ink pads are here in a convenient holiday set. So let's talk Totally Tiffany. We've got a couple things to talk about. We have the paper takers, that's one thing, but then we've got the buddy bags. So first off, buddy bags, Kirsten, Meryl, and Lisa are brand new, and they join old favorites Sarah and Denise for a really affordable marker storage in addition to stamp pads and all that other good stuff. And of course, we've got our really great special, buy 3 buddy bags and get a free Gale bag. Now let's talk paper takers. Those are a little different. These come in 6x6, 5x7, 8x8, and 12x12, but they are really sturdy, have an insert in there, and they do so much more. As you can see, they hold markers, they hold vinyl, so they have Tri-Blend would be the taller one. They hold vinyl storage, they're holding paper, they're holding all of your like stamps and dies on panels, they're holding paper pads. So many uses for these, and just like I said, really sturdy with great closures on them, and it's got that insert that makes it really sturdy as well. New acrylic paint markers that go on almost any surface, plus new shades and packages of the sparkle markers, a lot of shimmer and sheen. Those are available as well. Next up, we've got some really innovative paint markers. The first up is the gold, silver, and bronze or copper metallic paint markers. Goes on any surface. You're getting 3 different sizes in each set. You can buy each set individually or as a bundle set to save, but it goes on, you know, paper, glass, wood, ornaments, anything for a really vibrant color. And it's also a non-toxic product, which is really great. Perfect for Christmas crafting. Then we have the outline markers, which are really cool. It gives you that silver hue outlined in a color. As you can see here, you're getting 6 in the set. Very innovative and very cool for doing journaling and lettering and planners and calendars and all that good stuff. And as always, we've got unique stamps and dies to keep you satisfied into the seasons. We've got a lot of holiday and Christmas designs. Here's some samples of dies and stamps. So stamping foam is a moldable foam piece that's great to create unique stamps. So you heat it with a heat tool, and then you can press the foam into a textured surface like an embossing folder or another stamp and hold it in place, and then you can ink it and create some really cool backgrounds, and it can be reheated and remolded over and over again, and you get 4 pieces in the pack.